Have you ever met a woman so composed, so captivating, that she didn't need to speak loudly to be heard? She didn't dress for attention. She didn't chase approval. She didn't play games. Still, the entire room felt her presence. Men noticed her, but couldn't quite understand why. Women respected her, or envied her, because she carried something rare, something unteachable. That makes her magnetic. Not loud beauty or artificial charm, but presence, poise, and inner mastery. And the deeper you look, the more you realize she's stoic. Not cold, not emotionless, but unshakably grounded in who she is. In a world obsessed with filters, validation, and emotional chaos, she's still. She's whole and graceful. Today, we'll explore 6 magnetic traits of an ideal stoic woman. And by the end, you won't just admire her, you'll understand her. And maybe, you'll become a little more like her too. Stick around to the very last trait, because it's the one that separates the ordinary from the unforgettable. And before we dive in, tell me in the comments, have you ever met someone like this? Describe her in one word. Let's begin. Trait number 1. She cultivates emotional discipline. You won't find her reacting impulsively. She doesn't explode in rage, nor does she unravel in public sorrow. But don't confuse her calm for indifference. And don't mistake her composure for apathy. The magnetic stoic woman feels everything deeply, but she doesn't allow those feelings to dictate her behavior. She doesn't leak energy in the form of outbursts, gossip, or emotional theatrics. Instead, she practices the rare art of reflection. Where others spiral into panic, she pauses. Where others shout to be heard, she listens to understand. And where others look outward to blame, she turns inward to grow. This isn't about emotional suppression. It's about emotional mastery. She's trained her mind the way a warrior trains their body. Not to eliminate pain, but to face it with clarity and control. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And she lives by that. That quote isn't just philosophy to her, it's a lifestyle. It's why you'll never find her caught in gossip wars or unnecessary drama. If a friend betrays her, she doesn't seek revenge. She processes privately and walks away with grace. If a partner disappoints her, she doesn't beg for love. She detaches, not out of coldness, but self-respect. She does not weaponize tears. She does not use vulnerability as a manipulation tool. Her emotions are sacred, not strategies. And this makes her quietly magnetic. In today's world, emotional oversharing is often confused with authenticity. But she knows better. She understands that privacy is power, silence is strategy, and restraint is elegance. It's not that she can't be vulnerable. It's that she knows when, where, and with whom it's safe to be. And in that restraint, she radiates strength. She communicates one powerful message without ever needing to raise her voice. I control my energy, and you will not disturb my peace. Let that sink in, because in a world where chaos is normalized, her discipline is what makes her unforgettable. Let's move on to the second trait. She speaks less, but says more. Have you ever noticed something about truly magnetic people? They don't speak just to fill the silence. They don't interrupt to prove a point. They don't spill everything they feel just to be seen. Instead, they pause. They observe. They wait until the room quiets, and then when they speak, everyone listens. That's the essence of the stoic woman. Her words are deliberate, not because she's shy, but because she's aware. She understands the weight of language. She knows that every word you speak either builds clarity or reveals chaos. So she chooses clarity. She listens fully and deeply before she responds. And when she does speak, it's with unmistakable intention. While others talk to be liked, she talks to be understood. She doesn't ramble to prove intelligence. She doesn't chase conversations to be validated. She speaks only when she has something real to say. In today's world, where everyone is addicted to noise, she is a signal. That's her secret. She values her silence more than your attention. You'll never find her ranting about her ex on social media. You won't catch her gossiping or indulging in performative sarcasm. Because she knows, the moment you speak carelessly, you expose your emotional instability. And she protects her inner world like a sacred temple. What enters and what leaves is carefully chosen. Even when she's disrespected, She doesn't react with insults or performative anger. No theatrics or drama, just boundaries that have been enforced calmly. There's a quiet elegance in how she communicates. Her presence does most of the talking. She doesn't need to raise her voice, because her energy already speaks. That's what makes her mysterious. Not because she's hiding something, but because she's whole enough to not overexpose herself. She doesn't talk to dominate. She talks to direct. And when she does, she doesn't just speak. She commands. Not through volume, but through stillness. And that's truly magnetic. Trait number 3. She does not concern herself with unnecessary drama. Drama is the currency of the insecure. It feeds on emotional instability, thrives on attention, and steals your peace in exchange for temporary excitement. But the Stoic woman, she sees right through it and wants no part in it. She doesn't gossip. She doesn't eavesdrop. She doesn't involve herself in things that don't align with her values or elevate her mind. Why? Because she understands one thing most people never learn. Not every invitation requires a response. Not every argument is worth engaging. Not every insult deserves a comeback. Where others jump at the chance to defend themselves, prove a point, or expose someone else's flaws, she simply lets it pass, because her peace is worth more than being right. You won't see her in group chats picking sides. You won't see her screenshotting private messages to win sympathy. You won't see her chasing closure from people who thrive on chaos. She has outgrown the need for chaos disguised as connection. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And she lives by this. She doesn't mirror dysfunction. She neutralizes it through silence, distance, and emotional control. If she's misunderstood, she lets it be. If her name is dragged into petty disputes, she stays quiet, knowing truth always outlasts noise. This makes her magnetic, because while others are consumed by drama, she is consumed by growth. She pours her energy into her craft, her peace, her future. She invests in ideas, not conflict. She builds while others spiral. And ironically, this is what makes people obsessed with her. Her absence in the drama becomes more powerful than others' constant participation in it. They wonder why she's unbothered, why she's glowing, why she never seems shaken. It's simple. She's mastered the art of selective attention. If it doesn't feed her soul, grow her mind, or protect her peace, it doesn't deserve her focus. And that quiet detachment, that refusal to be pulled into the emotional playground of the immature, is what makes her unforgettable. She doesn't escape drama. She transcends it. And that is magnetic. Next, trait number 4. She chooses purpose over popularity. The magnetic Stoic woman isn't here to be liked by everyone. She's here to live with intention. And that single decision changes everything. While others shapeshift to fit in, she carves her own path, even when it's lonely. She doesn't chase trends. She doesn't conform just to gain applause or avoid discomfort. She lives by a deeper compass, purpose. This is what makes her different and unforgettable. You see it in the way she carries herself. There's a certain clarity in her eyes, as if she's walking towards something meaningful. Not just a goal, but a mission. And because of that, she's willing to be misunderstood. She's willing to be called too much, too intense, or too different. Because fitting in was never the point, becoming whole was. She understands something most people never grasp. Chasing approval is a full-time prison. It chains you to the opinions of people who don't even know themselves. So she lets go of the crowd. She stops performing, and instead she builds. She builds character. She builds peace. She builds a life that's rooted, not rented from others' validation. This is where her magnetism deepens, because purpose is rare in a world of performance, and those who live with it glow differently. People feel it. Even if they can't explain it, they're drawn to it. She may not always be the loudest voice in the room, but when she speaks about what matters, you listen. Because there's no fakeness behind her words. No agenda, just truth. And when she walks away from something, a toxic friendship, a shallow job, a relationship without depth, she doesn't look back, because she's not walking toward popularity. She's walking toward peace, alignment, and legacy. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." And that's her edge. She'd rather be seen as strange than sacrifice her soul to fit in. The world may not always understand her, but the right ones, the real ones, will. And that's all she needs. Let's talk about the fifth trait. She's emotionally independent, but not emotionally cold. The magnetic Stoic woman knows how to stand on her own, not just physically, but emotionally. She doesn't need someone to text her every hour to feel secure. She doesn't crumble when left on read. She doesn't define her worth based on how much attention she receives. Why? Because she's emotionally independent. But let's be clear, that doesn't mean she's emotionally cold. She can be warm, soft, even deeply affectionate. But it comes from overflow, not emptiness. She's not guarded. She's grounded. She doesn't need someone to complete her, because she's already whole. And in that wholeness, she becomes powerful. When she enters a relationship, romantic or platonic, she brings peace, not pressure. She doesn't demand constant reassurance. She doesn't test your love through games or silence. She communicates clearly, connects deeply, and lets things unfold naturally. That's magnetic, because most people either depend too much or shut down completely. She does neither. She's balanced. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." And emotional independence is a kind of bravery. The bravery to be misunderstood, to sit with your feelings instead of projecting them, to walk alone rather than beg to be held. She doesn't fear solitude. She uses it to recalibrate. And when she returns, she doesn't come to drain, she comes to share. This is what makes her unforgettable. She doesn't make you responsible for her happiness. She creates her own and invites you into it. If she loves you, it's because she chooses to, not because she needs to. And that choice is worth more than 1,000 obligations. She is not aloof. She's aware. She's not heartless. She's selective. She will cry, but not for attention. She will love, but never at the cost of herself. And when she walks away, it won't be in anger. It will be in peace. Because she doesn't just manage her emotions. She owns them. That kind of presence, quiet, steady, and whole, is what the world is starving for. And when you find it, you'll never forget her. The final trait. She radiates inner stillness. This is her most magnetic trait of all. Not beauty, not charm, not perfection, but stillness. In her presence, the world slows down. Conversations deepen. Ego fades. She walks into chaos and doesn't become it. She faces rejection and doesn't personalize it. She's not trying to win, she's trying to understand. This stillness isn't an act. It's the result of inner work, of letting go of needing to be liked, to be right, to be seen. She doesn't resist what she can't control. She focuses only on what she can. Her thoughts, her energy, her response. And that makes her magnetic, because in a stormy world, she is the calm. People trust her, even if they don't know why. Men are drawn to her, not just for her beauty, but for the peace she brings. She doesn't need to be worshipped. She needs to be understood, and she offers that same gift in return. Marcus Aurelius said, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." She's found that place, and she lives from it. That's the true Stoic feminine. Not cold, not detached, but deeply rooted, emotionally free, spiritually clear. And in a world that's constantly spinning, she reminds you what stillness feels like. That's why she's unforgettable. That's why she's magnetic. Now ask yourself, which of these 6 traits moved you the most? Was it her emotional discipline? Her stillness? Her quiet power? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you're a man watching this, understand, a woman like this won't be won by charm, money, or games. She'll only be moved by depth, presence, and purpose. If you're a woman watching this, don't chase being liked. Cultivate this kind of energy, and you won't have to chase anything again. Remember, magnetism isn't created by pretending. It's revealed when you stop performing and start becoming. So whether you're becoming her, or learning how to honor her when she walks into your life, start by mastering yourself. Thank you for watching Stoic Clarity. If this resonated, give it a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more depth, philosophy, and power. Until next time, stay grounded, stay rising.